Things have clearly been heating up in the Windy City. After the Bears' blowout loss to the Packers, Cutler threw 2 interceptions in that game, you may remember, including a pick-6. Fans burned his jersey, and as you can see, he seemed unfazed. Meanwhile, his star wideout, Brandon Marshall, got into it with a Lions fan over Twitter, which resulted in the fan insulting Brandon Marshall's mother. And then there was a $25,000 challenge for charity for them both to step inside the ring and box it out. Take a look. Here's a little bit of the exchange. The fan goes, I don't know if you saw this on IG, but here's a reminder. I give you $5,000 to get in the ring with me. Marshall responds, if I lose, I'll give you another $10,000. If I win, you have to serve 100 hours at an orphanage. Deal? And then there's more. That's it. Come on, Brandy. The Lions fan responding, make it 25 and we can do it in Detroit. 25 it is. Ha! You thought I wouldn't say yes. That's it. Come on, Brandy, make it 25 and we can do it in Detroit. And you have to apologize to my mom. All right, listen, there's a game going on. Meanwhile, we got Cutler saying he doesn't necessarily care about his jersey being burned and Brandon Marshall taking to Twitter to battle with a Lions fan. What do you expect? I mean, everything that's going on with them, Stephen A., this is probably the last thing that they should be even addressing. But what do you expect from the game this weekend when the Bears take on the Vikings?
Wouldn't surprise me at all if they won this game because the Vikings aren't very good right now. It's just that simple. And you got 2 home games against the Minnesota Vikings, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In 2 weeks, they could easily be 5-6 before going to Detroit and losing that game. But the reality is that once the season is over, once this regular season ends, it'll mark the 4th consecutive year that the Chicago Bears did not make the playoffs. Trestman, as far as I'm concerned, has been an absolute disaster. It's primarily because his quarterback is even worse than a disaster because not only has he been ineffective and ineffectual, but also he doesn't seem to care as much as he should. It's the same thing that we did debate, and I think it's an insult to Derrick Rose to compare him to Jay Cutler. I think Derrick Rose made ill-advised comments. It wasn't wise, and you got to watch what you say moving forward. But Jay Cutler is a guy historically that has been unproductive and has been perfectly okay with it, it appears. He's not inspirational. He doesn't galvanize anybody. He doesn't lead anybody. He doesn't win football games. He doesn't get to the postseason. He doesn't do anything that a franchise quarterback should do. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm the owner for the Chicago Bears, I'm cleaning house. I want to know the executive, the general manager that decided to give this man this money. I want to know the head coach that thought he could work with this guy and turn him into something that he's not. I want to know who in God's name decided that this guy is the right representative for the city of Chicago. He doesn't belong in it. The great sports town that Chicago is, Jay Cutler isn't fit to represent them as a franchise caliber quarterback. You need something significantly different than what he represents in productivity, in body language, in results, in stature, in cachet, in everything. Whatever you need from a quarterback, he is not. He's got to go. And as far as I'm concerned, so does Trestman and every coach that coaches under him. They need to go. The general manager that got rid of Lovie Smith, that hired Trestman, he needs to go. They need to clean house because the Chicago Bears organization has become a laughingstock. And Brandon Marshall didn't help himself at all because I got news for you. In this day and age, in this world, you don't know who you're messing with. These kids box. They watch the UFC religiously. You don't know what kind of stuff cats are capable of. Brandon Marshall's a football player. It reminds me of years ago, Skip, when Herschel Walker, who you know I have profound respect for, and is just an elite athlete and what have you, and can fight too, when he wanted to go up against Mike Tyson. Really? You know, be careful what you wish for. You got to watch yourself now. People got to be careful about that. And I'm not saying that Herschel Walker couldn't have beaten him if they were fighting in the UFC, but in terms of putting on gloves in a boxing match, no, that's Mike Tyson's domain. You got to be careful about the stuff that you're wishing for and asking for. And Brandon Marshall don't know. You talk about somebody from the D, bro. This is Detroit. Ain't too many punks that come from Detroit. This dude that you challenge into a fight for $25,000, he might sweep the floor with you. You got to be careful about that stuff. And Brandon Marshall's no punk, and I'm sure he can fight. But you got to be careful. You don't know who you're messing with. Somebody on Twitter. Watch your mouth. I don't understand the stuff going on in Chicago, but it just seems to be chaos. Everything's about everything but winning football games. It's a problem.
Okay, let me take your points one at a time quickly here. Let's go back to the reference I made early in the show comparing the reactions of Jay Cutler and Derrick Rose. again, they don't belong in the same sentence because Derrick Rose won an MVP, and he has at least advanced his team in the playoffs. Jay Cutler has not done that. He has, what, one playoff win at home against a mediocre Seattle team.
In 9 years.
In 9 years. Okay, look, here's my point. I look at Jay Cutler. Again, he went to my school. I still love my school. I no longer love Jay Cutler. It looks like during media sessions that he cares no more about winning than he does taking out the garbage. He looks like he just woke up for media sessions. He's disdainful. He's arrogant. He's condescending. His attitude is, look, I got my $100 million. You guys can go kick rocks. That's like, burn my jersey. I don't care because I don't really care about winning. I'm not sure that Derrick Rose really cares about winning rings the way Bulls fans want him to as they look back to the great old days of Michael Jordan. So now you talked about chaos. That's your leader. That's your quarterback. Now you got Brandon Marshall. I love Brandon Marshall, but what is he thinking? This is such mistargeted frustration on his part. Another Twitter victim. And I tell you all the time, you just can't react to some dude in Chicago. He may be a good dude. He might be a hellacious fighter for all. I don't know, but what does it matter to Brandon Marshall? Why couldn't you take your frustration out on the Minnesota Vikings? You know, why couldn't you? It's like, what are you doing? How can you recognize a Detroit fan's existence on Twitter and you're going to get into such a scrap with him that you're going to fight him? Come on, Brandon, aren't you better than that? Isn't that beneath your dignity? Maybe it's not anymore. I don't know. And I've had to sit through a whole week of Mark Trestman saying, you know, yes, we do need to play better. Duh. You need to play better? Mel Tucker says, you know, we got to do a better job. Are you kidding me? You've got to do a better job? Is that all you're going to give to your Chicago Bears fans?
Breaking news.
Loyal till they die to the Chicago Bears? It's just repulsive to me. So now let's get back to Kerry's question. What do I expect? I mean, can't they beat Minnesota at home with a rookie quarterback who's up and down, Teddy Bridgewater? I mean, can't they? I'm not sure they can. I'm going to say they will because I think they're a little better, but they might be in such psychological disarray. I'm not sure they can beat that team right now. I hope they do for their sake because I love the city of Chicago and I know how much they love their Bears. So I just hope they bounce back and at least win this game and set up a potential win over Tampa next week.
There you go.
Both the gentlemen feel that the Bears should be able to get it done. Let's talk about Kobe.